and be like, oh, yeah, you can't do that. That's not going to work for me. And then he's really screwed because A, you probably have good positioning on him. B, you probably have an army advantage because there's a reason he wants to mass TP out. And you probably have also an economic advantage because, he doesn't have the money to spend a TP because, if you're going to be casting mass TP, if your hero's in trouble or your army's in trouble, you really have to make sure that it's actually going to, work as opposed to just casting a regular TP and then everything's just dandy. So the Farseer comes back out, which is good sign for Lin because he can actually, do a lot more damage to the casters, and of course, he can do a lot more damage to the breakers. Now, one thing that I didn't comment on is the fact that Todd got Invis, and really it's a great spell to have because it saves your heroes. The only thing that the Orc can do about it is panic, dispel, and then hopefully he can get the hero kill. Anyways, back to the Farseer. Farseer is a great counter to breakers in the first place anyways because he can actually take out breakers. The only thing that breakers do is like a little bit of damage to your wolves, but with the critical strike, pretty much here's the only ratio that I know. 2 spirit wolves, which are the level 3 wolves, or not spirit wolves, shadow wolves, which are the level 3 summons. 2 of those can take out 3 breakers without like the invis micro. So you're pretty much good to count on wolves as being your counter. So you can kind of factor those in to how many units you're going to be getting, especially with the raiders. If you do go Blade Master, there's a problem because you won't be able to counter the breakers as well as you usually would be. So Todd has used Invis on his hero, or on his Archmage, and I forget where it went. I believe it was going to buy some items or something. Yes, it is. It is buying healing scrolls. So, of course, the one great thing about Invis is that even if someone catches you creeping, you can still hide your heroes and not lose as many units. It's also kind of like this is going to sound ridiculous, but like a staff or a zeppelin, because something's weak, you invis it, and then there's not much they can do about it, and all you really have to do is try and get it repositioned before they dispel it properly. So, pretty much Lin has kind of an economic advantage because Todd doesn't have an expo set up, and pretty much at this point in the game you have to be worrying about where an expo is going to be going up, and the fact that your peons are really vulnerable here and you have to do the long distance mining and stuff. He is researching pillage, which is one thing that I found interesting. Not many people research pillage, and not many people also research the magic sentry ability. Generally against a Blade Master you really want to be researching that, just because a lot of people will run into your base and start killing things anyways, so you might as well make sure that you can counter it more effectively. So Lin's doing a good job of taking out Todd's Hall, and really at this point Lin's doing the safe move, which is he's trying to force Todd into a do-or-die situation. He's killed off a bunch of his peasants with the chain wave, and he's killed off his Hall. Now with the TP trade, it kind of puts Todd at a really awkward position, because right now he has to rely on the fact that his Beastmaster will hit level 6, or his Archmage will hit level 6, so that he can actually TP around. Now this also forces Todd into a little corner, because he has to make sure that Lin doesn't get an expo up, and that Lin doesn't use his economic advantage against him, because hero levels are pretty even. They're pretty much all level 5, I believe. Oh, Beastmaster is level 4. So once again, great use of the Shadow Wolves. Really, the best thing about them is that you can really focus down a hero and cause them to panic, because those things do buttloads of damage. Now, Lin's doing a smart thing is he's manipulating his army around so that he can continue to base rush. Now, the great thing about this is, his Shadow Wolves can actually indicate exactly where, Todd is. So all he has to really do is run in, focus down some buildings, and be like, oh, it looks like, you're coming back. My Shadow Wolves told me so. So now I just have to speed scroll away. That's 50 gold for me, especially with the money gained from, pillage. You're really not losing anything. So now Todd has actually decided to enter in a battle, or no, never mind. I thought Lin was going to turn around and start focusing stuff, but he does a really great job here of really gaining position on his casters, because really, excuse me, at the ensnare he kind of got back into the casters a little bit and actually focus fired one or two down. Great move by Todd though to manipulate his breakers into the front line. Now this I thought was really, really stupid by Lin, because obviously Todd is a very good player and he's going to be able to surround your hero fairly well when it's slowed. Of course he almost screwed that up, but really I thought it was kind of dumb to just kind of run into their army with slow and focus down a sorceress. I really don't see how that trade turned out for him, but it's kind of his choice. He does have an Expo, so it's kind of a safe move, but at the same time it's kind of dumb, because then you're just allowing their heroes to level up senselessly for one lousy unit kill. Now sure, killing a sorceress is always a good thing, but I don't think the trade was really worth it. Now the one thing that Todd can do in this situation is maybe creep some heavy camps. He does have the army to do it, and just sell off the items, and hopefully you can build enough units off that to be able to counter him. But other than that, you're actually going to be forced to do things like this, which is attack their base. So now, without Todd having any sorcerers, I guess it's kind of good that he killed the sorceress in the end. But without Todd's sorceress, Lin has so much of an advantage, because he can actually run around and do stuff, as opposed to panicking, oh crap, Slow's going to kick my ass. So really, Lin's losing his Expo, but at the same time, he's forcing him to mass TP back to his base, and without any slow, Todd really can't catch up to him. Oh, he does have one sorceress, I didn't notice that. But, Lin saves his Expo by trying to do a little base rush, especially with Raiders. You can do that so much better than they can. So, you're better off just trying to base trade. So, really at this point Lin's just trying to drag out the game as long as possible so that he can actually completely demolish Todd in a battle. And really, the fact that he's dragging it out is a good thing, because neither of them are really gaining a hero advantage, but one of them's getting an RV advantage, or an economic advantage, kind of both. This allows Lin to actually be able to purchase, items, which are very important to any army, I guess, because, you need the healing scrolls. I guess you can get protection scrolls, whatever. I haven't seen protection scrolls used as often recently, especially because of the Dispel and the Spellbreakers for the steel and all of this fun stuff. So really, right now, Lin has decided to go into a battle, and I guess it's kind of a good time to do it, because he does have a 7 food advantage on him, and he kind of has a hero advantage, because, the Beastmaster's still level 5, and I guess the Archmage really doesn't give you much of an advantage anyways. He hits level 6, which is pretty much GG on its own, and with the amount of Spirit Walkers that he still has 3, there is no real amount of, slow or, summons that can really kick your ass. So pretty much with the Archmage kill, that's GG, because it really limits how much the Beastmaster can summon, and it also, doesn't allow him to have the water elementals to tank for him.